of my favorite cookies is a raspberry lemon thumbprint cookie. I know. I know. So if you don't mind, we're going to start. What I fill them with is I use a raspberry jam that you can make. And if you don't have access to raspberry jam, or you're out and you're in a pinch, you can always just get simple raspberries, a little bit of sugar, cook them down, puree them. That simple. There's enough natural pectin inside of it. That's the thing that kind of keeps it together. I have a raspberry jam that I'm going to flavor with a little raspberry liqueur called Chambord. Oh, yeah, baby. It's the holiday time. It's the holiday time. Those of you that are chess players out there might want to use this as the king instead. You can always take a little nip in between the game, you know. Now, all right, this is what we're going to actually use to flavor the cookie, but first we need to make the cookie. So real simple, what we're going to do, read a recipe. You probably have heard this terminology before. We're going to cream the butter. That means we've got whole butter here, and I've got the paddle, and we're going to begin to leave it at room temperature. You take it right out of the ice box and put it in there. It has a chance of getting even more lumpy. We want to just kind of mix that around to soften up the butter a little bit, okay? Once that happens, then we're going to use a little granulated sugar in here. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is, like, when you're cooking, you can take more tarragon, take a little bit more essence. Hey, you can add more stock. When you're baking and baking with formulas, you can't do a lot of that, because then the cookie, and it doesn't rise. It rises too much. Need a new roof. All right, so once we get that together, where the sugar begins to start working in here, now we're in the home stretch. We're going to add an egg in here. Actually, we're adding just the yolk of the egg. Now we're going to flavor the cookie. Half a lemon, the juice, a little vanilla. Vanilla's fantastic in cookies. And so is zest, and I'm going to use a little orange and a little lemon zest to give it a nice little flavor. Okay, so that's sort of the wet part of the cookie, all right? We're almost in the home stretch, but here's a secret that I want to share with you. Doing cookies as much as I have, this is when you want to scrape down your bowl. Whether you're doing it in a mixer or you're doing it on a handheld thing, you got to scrape the bowl and scrape the paddle so that it's all, especially the sides, so that it gets all incorporated. The bottom, the sides, the beater. Okay, now we got that together. Haven't broke the machine yet. Now the dry ingredients, very simple. Flour, all-purpose, little baking powder, that's what's going to sort of make it rise, and a pinch of salt. Believe it or not, the little salt in here is going to be delicious for our cookie. We're going to sift it here. The reason why you sift things, everybody thinks you sift them because there's like little bugs or something in here. You know, where do they get that from? We're actually sifting it for the lumps and also to aerate the flour, okay? Now, I like these folks here. Just met them. Okay, I don't know where they're from. Where are you from?
Staten Island.
Staten Island. I'm not going to see. I could turn the machine on right now. Poof. Flour everywhere. I'm going to add the dry ingredients in here. We're going to form a dough. I got the cookie dough. Let me give you another secret. One of the secrets is this. When you're making cookie dough, you can always do this the day before. The dough is better in the refrigerator when it's cold for most cookies that you're going to make, okay? So if I was going to do that, which often what I do is I'll just make 2, 3 different types of cookie doughs, wrap it in plastic, roll them out in like little logs, and keep them in the ice box. And when you're ready, you slice them, put them on the parchment paper, you bake them. Generally, an average cookie only takes about 20 minutes, and then you got fresh cookies. All right. With this particular cookie, here's what you do. You can either do this all in one shot, or what I do is just in little things. You find little ball like this. Now, if it's a little wet, which means it's starting to really stick to your hands, what I tell people is to have just a little bench flour like this, just to kind of work in their hands a little bit. You don't want them too much in there, though. Now, for this particular cookie, all you're going to do is pinch like a ball like this. See how I did that? And then like making meatballs, you're just going to sort of roll them like this. And then you want to put them on the parchment paper about 1 inch apart. Show you again. You just sort of roll in this, and then you just sort of pinch it. You get a little ball like that. And then you just sort of roll this up like a little meatball. If you want them bigger, you can do them bigger. You're not going to hurt my feelings. And then what you do is you just keep them about 1 inch apart. Now what you do is this. Either with your thumb, to me it works just fine. Okay? Or if you want, you could also use your measuring. Usually about a half teaspoon will work. And you can just sort of press that like that as well. Okay? And then what you're going to do now is you're going to take that jam and Chambord, fill them up. Oh, yeah, like a bullseye. Fill them up just like that. About a ½ inch. You don't want too much to go over. All right, so look, come on. This isn't rocket science now. 350 degrees, pop them in the oven. They take about 20 minutes. And then you've got beautiful Thumbprint cookies. Look at those, huh? Don't they look great right there? Oh, yeah, big. Now, the dough itself is this, lemon sort of dough because we put the vanilla, the little lemon zest in there, but you could change it, if you wanted to put lime. You could also change the filling. It doesn't have to be raspberry jam. It could be orange jam. You let them cool. You get one of these very inexpensive tins that you can buy. You fill them up there with some, color creative paper there, not very expensive. You take your cool cookies, put them in there, a little gift pack like this. Boy, talk about making friends, huh? Talking about making friends. All right, let it cool, put the lid on, send it with Johnny to school. Hey, he makes an A. Hey.